Hello, everyone. So good to be live with you. I thought I would add a little bit of Chinese sounding music to start my show because America is becoming more and more like China. And we're going to jump into exactly why that is. Yes, we are live again today. I know I had a lot of pre recorded shows last week. I'm trying to figure out the best system that you guys will like because live is definitely fun and interactive, but sometimes we have more technical difficulties, right? Like right now, I'm trying to make sure you guys hear me okay. Let me know. I put on these headphones to see if it'll help with the sound of my mic. So guys, keep giving me feedback. I want to know if you like live or pre-recorded and what time of day I should do these shows. But we have so much news to get into. Bill Gates did donate a big chunk of cash to digital ID surveillance. Let me turn off my Chinese music and let's get into how the world is becoming Chinese. Now, China was the first one to implement this digital ID system. Now, the most powerful people in the world are trying to implement digital ID around the globe. Here is the press release from Gates Foundation. Gates Foundation announces 1.27 billion in health and development commitments to advance progress toward the global goals. They want to achieve these goals by 2030, it says. But the primary area I'm focusing on today is this part right here. It says, quote, 200 million to expand global digital public infrastructure. This funding will help expand infrastructure that low and middle income countries can use to become more resilient to crises such as food shortages, public health threats, and climate change, as well as to aid in pandemic and economic recovery. This infrastructure encompasses tools such as interoperable payment systems, digital ID, data sharing systems, and civil registry databases. And again, like I said, Bill Gates is sending this money towards low and middle income countries because guess what? He doesn't have to worry too much about America. America's Congress is working on its own digital ID system right now. Were you aware of that? The people that you guys sent to represent you in office are developing this. I'm gonna jump into exactly what what our own Congress is working on before we get into it. Shout out to the sponsor of my coverage. Violent crime, it is at an all-time high. You're more likely now than ever to be attacked while walking down the street. In fact, in many parts of the nation, homicides have increased as high as 50% and as high as 36% for aggravated assault. This isn't uncommon anymore. We're seeing crime rise across the nation, but there are vital steps you can take to save your life and those you love. An attacker's worst enemy is attention. And that's why I highly recommend the Scream Siren. Scream Siren is the ultimate personal protection alarm. They require no training or skills to operate, and you can use one regardless of your age or physical ability. The fact of the matter is that victims are often too traumatized to shout or fight back in a dangerous situation. Criminals hate attention and will likely run off after realizing this alarm won't stop. Nearly 100,000 users trust the Scream Siren with their lives. Try the Scream Siren risk-free for 90 days and for up to 50% off by clicking the link in description right down below, guys. It's screamsiren.com. After placing your order, the Scream Siren will be delivered straight to your doorstep, and it's less than $15, you guys. Here's a picture. Right, can go right on your keychain and keep you safe because crime is going crazy. I know it is here in Houston, sadly. Checking your comments. All right. So they like IDs, just not in combination with elections. Exactly, you guys. Don't make us look at your ID. Don't show us your digital ID when you're voting. Just for everything else. Exactly. Okay, I guess you guys can hear me all right. Great. Okay, so let me show you guys what our own Congress is up to because I think this is, people like to pay attention to what Bill Gates is up to, but what's more important is what our own Congress is up to in the upcoming election because if Democrats take over a majority of the Senate, okay, if they get a super majority in the Senate, they've already got control of the House, and we keep a Democrat president, policies in compliance with Bill Gates's vision and World Economic Forum's vision and the United Nations 2030 are all going to be roll right out in America. Okay, so our upcoming election here in November is very important. Okay, so Representative Bill Foster, he's a Democrat from Illinois. He introduced the digital ID bill, and he proudly put out this release saying that it sees action in the House and Senate. He initially introduced this bill in 2020, and it went nowhere, so he reintroduced it last year. Now he's finally seeing action on this bill in 2022. Now, I think a lot of Americans might not want to mimic China's digital ID system. So perhaps they're timing the pace of this bill. I don't know, but I would guess that the most radical Democrats in our Congress are waiting until they can get total control after the election to roll out some of the most radical things. But his press release here says the bill includes a few deliverables, but the main impact will likely be felt from its proposed policy shift that puts the federal government more squarely in the digital ID business. Federal government in the digital ID business. How about federal government stay out of our business, period? The legislation pushes the federal government, he says, to use existing authority to help Americans prove who they are online by providing opt-in ID validation services that augment private sector digital identity and authentication solutions. I have linked it down below in my description if you guys want to see the exact bill. I wanted to show you guys China. When China was first rolling out digital ID and how it was presented in the press. This is an article from 2018, and it shows this lovely young woman signing up for digital ID. It says here, quote, to apply, go to a self-service kiosk at a local public security bureau, scan your face, and within minutes, an EID card or unique QR code is sent to your phone. And so what a lovely thing. You can go sign up. Now it's strictly mandated in China. And, that was right before the pandemic. Little did they know a pandemic would be rolling around where they would use digital ID with that facial recognition that she willingly submitted to in 2018 to control your life on a level never seen before. Here I have video of a woman who did not submit to the government's daily testing requirements. Once you had that digital ID, you got the QR codes. You needed to be proving to the government how healthy you were every day. And if you didn't keep up with that, the government would come get you and throw you in prison. And here's this woman in China. That's a tweet from my source, Song Ping Ang. He is a source in China who has been leaking a lot of video of the tyranny on the Chinese. I tried to do an interview with him on camera, but he said, he would be thrown in prison by the government if he did that. So he's secretly, anonymously releasing all this video of what is going on in China. But digital ID sounds like a convenient thing, but there are just some concerns. Gateway Pundit just covered it. Commentary from Michael Reckenwald, author of Google Archipelago, the Digital Gulag. And he says, of all of the other means of identifying and tracking subjects, digital identity poses perhaps the gravest technological threat to individual liberty yet conceived. Reckenwald went on to say that digital ID, quote, has the potential to trace, track, and surveil subjects and to compile a complete record of all activity from cradle to grave. The United States has something called Project Salus under the Department of Defense. I just want to show you their webpage where they basically say, yeah, China is definitely great at artificial intelligence and surveillance, but we are too. We don't enact tyranny, they said. Anyway, here's their article, Where It Counts, U.S. Leads in Artificial Intelligence. Quote, when it comes to advancements in artificial intelligence technology, China does have a lead in some places, like spying on its own people and using facial recognition technology to identify political dissenters. But those are areas where the US simply isn't pointing its investments in artificial intelligence, said director of the Joint Artificial Intelligence Center. Where it counts, the US leads, he said. They go on to say China leads in some places. Quote, China's military and police authority undeniably have the world's most advanced capabilities, such as unregulated facial recognition for universal surveillance and control of their domestic population, trained on Chinese video gathered from their systems, and Chinese language text analysis for internet and media censorship. Oh, but the US would never analyze online text to censor things, except that video emails were leaked this summer thanks to a lawsuit that showed that the White House was indeed collaborating with Facebook and Twitter to do just that. Through artificial intelligence, they flag certain words. White House collaborating with Facebook and Twitter. So America is doing what China is doing. And this release in 2020 said that the Defense Department said, we're not going to go there. But they went there. Anyway, it goes on to say the U.S. is capable of doing similar things, but it doesn't, quote, it's against the law and it's not in line with American values. That's right, Defense Department. So how about we get back to American values? It says, quote, our Constitution and privacy laws protect the rights of U.S. citizens and how their data is collected and used. Quote, therefore, we simply don't invest in building such universal surveillance and censorship systems. Well, that was back in 2020. A lot has changed. Sadly, America gravitated a lot more towards Chinese policy than I ever wanted to see in our country. But this article says we're only using artificial intelligence to surveil the food supply chain, make sure we're not running out of anything. Literally, that's what they're trying to say there. Now, I did an interview with Pete Santilli, another independent journalist, a while back, actually. I meant to publish this earlier. He has a source within Walmart corporate who described the collaboration between this major retail center and the federal government to surveil people. You always hear about these public-private partnerships. Well, here's one of them, and it's pretty bone-chilling. The full uncensored interview is on my website, linked down below, ivoryhecker.com, but here is a clip of this.
My source explained to me right after Katrina, he was involved in building this relationship with the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA. That's when it was born. Because remember, during Hurricane Katrina, FEMA could not respond because there were so many people in New Orleans. They couldn't get enough supplies there. It actually began with a couple of requests for pallets of water to Walmart corporate. They have distribution facilities and they were able to mobilize and distribute. So that relationship between Walmart and FEMA was born. It has further evolved to the point to where this same person that was involved in establishing a relationship with FEMA was installing pinhole cameras at the door, entrance, and exit of every single Walmart facility to do facial recognition, store that data, transmit it to Bentonville, and then real time now, they're actually exchanging information with the Department of Homeland Security. 80% of all Americans pass through Walmarts. The Department of Homeland Security doesn't have that ability at any one particular venue to collect all of that data. Imagine how powerful Walmart is in the private sector or the corporate sector with all of that data. Not only do they have your facial recognition, but it's also tied into your transactions at the register. They have you identified. They know who you are at the register when you swipe your card. They tie all that information together. And most importantly, they're a national security risk because of their presence in China. Nobody has any idea when you walk into a Walmart, you're instantly being scanned and it's real time being transmitted to the U.S. government.
There you go. It's pretty stunning. So it appears that digital IDs are more advanced probably than we even realize as far as what our federal government actually has on us. I bet that it's way more than we even realize. I have a feeling some of our digital IDs may already be in place. It just needs to be official. Now, interestingly, World Health Organization signed a contract with Deutsche Telekom, which is the parent company of T-Mobile, to create digital IDs in regards to your health. They've been working on rolling that out in 194 member states, that many countries this year. Even though the pandemic's over, Biden himself said that, they still use the excuse of the pandemic to create this huge digital paper system. So back in Nazi Germany, show your papers was physical. Now, show your papers is all digital, thanks to World Health Org around the globe with this German telecom company. Ironic that this is coming out of Germany, that you're now going to have this mark on your digital device, a red screen if they don't like you, just like the Jews had the star. I don't know. This is just handing too much power to the government, and I just don't like the idea of that. Telecom is the same company that worked with certain United Nations states to roll out their green pass, their needle passport during the pandemic, starting in 2021. So this is a company that already proved it knows what it's doing. It enacted a lot of control on the people of certain European nations. If they didn't have that needle in the arm, their QR code was flashing red, they lost a lot of their liberties. So now World Health Org is working on that around the globe. In addition, Apple has been lobbying to bring digital ID to New York State. Very interestingly, for people who have iPhones, there's a digital wallet on your phone. So they just want to slide that ID right in with your other items on your phone. And what a perfect state to start in, but New York. World Economic Forum has a digital ID pilot project that it collaborated with Canada on. Epoch Times reporting this, the World Economic Forum initiative to test the use of digital ID in travel with the collaboration of Canada has been delayed due to the pandemic. They just reported this a couple days ago. Delayed due to the pandemic that ended? Or did they delay it due to backlash once it came out that this is what they were up to, that the government spent $105 million to increase tracking and controlling their citizens? But this is considered, in this article, it says implementing broader digital ID systems in society is a stated, quote, urgent World Economic Forum objective. Quote, the need for trusted digital travel credentials as a result of the pandemic is paramount, and clearly from the different solutions that have emerged, the pandemic has served as a burning platform, urging stakeholders to get the design of trusted digital credentials for right travel, it says. Well, guys, the pandemic's over, and I just want to note that Joe Biden was dead wrong back in May when he predicted 100 million new cases this fall. You guys probably don't remember that, but every single news outlet reported it. Biden is warning 100 million new cases. 100 million Americans going to get sick this fall. It didn't happen. What he was doing was fear-mongering again, not only to get more needles in the arm, and he was straightforward with it. He was he had a meeting coming up with world leaders. He wanted more Americans to have needles in the arm, so why not fearmonger again, say a bunch of people are going to get sick this fall, and get those needle numbers up to look good to other countries. But also he was pushing at the time for billions of dollars for Congress to pass billions for more pandemic-related pharmaceuticals. Biden wanted that pharmaceutical funding, so he put that out. He was dead wrong. Don't trust politicians. They keep making stuff up. And thankfully, there were not 100 100 million new cases. Of course, the fall's not over yet, but if you look at the World Health Organization numbers, they have absolutely plummeted. I'm just going to bring this up on the screen for you guys. So it was, America had a total of 81 million cases as of May when he said that. Now they're up to 95 million. So in 5 months' time, there were 14 million new cases. And you can see over here at the end, it has tapered off into oblivion. Like the numbers are way down as this pandemic fizzles out. All right, guys, should I keep doing shorter videos? I had a lot more to get to today, but I promised I was going to do shorter videos. And this video is already going kind of long. I'm going to check your comments. Oh, best dating site. Guys, I've never done online dating, but I'm going to try, what's it called? The Right Stuff. I had them on my show. It's this new dating app that's launching this week, I guess. So it's supposed to be right-wingers on there. And so the leftist media is already trash talking it, saying there's no girls on the app yet. It hasn't even launched yet. I'm going to give it a try. That's right. I am single again, unfortunately. All right. World Economic Forum's plan to use Israel as the world's first CRISPR guinea pig, taking into account now that is racist against the Israelis, huh? Weird times, you guys. 100 million. Are you not relieved? Yeah, when Biden said 100 million, it was like, of course that's not going to happen, because in the entire 2+ years of the pandemic up to that point, there had only been 81 million cases. So why is there going to be 100 million in one fall? It was outrageous. This man is just spewing whatever his intern types for him. You know, and I'm sure his intern types a lot of typos, and that's why he's always stumbling over his words. See, I'm giving Biden a break. It's his intern's fault. Oh man. Oh, speaking of Biden, Trump, a recent poll out of Iowa showed Trump beating Biden by 8 percentage points if they ran against each other. And so that just, it brings up a point, you know, Bill O'Reilly brought up today. Bill O'Reilly said, with virtually no Democratic congressional candidates asking President Biden to campaign for them, a stark message has been sent. Mr. Biden's incompetence may be contagious, and the Dems don't want an association. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is racing around the country in support of Republican candidates. So it just shows how popular Trump is, that whoever he endorses ended up winning their primary, and he's continuing to campaign for them. They want him by their side. It helps their ratings. Democrat candidates want nothing to do with Biden. That is how ridiculously unpopular this guy is, how ridiculously unpopular the most voted for person is. Okay? History of America, no one has ever received more votes than this incredibly unpopular guy. What the heck happened in 2020? I want to see if the same sort of thing happens in 2022. Do we have secure elections? Did we fix all our mistakes in 2020? No, we didn't. So what's really going to happen in 2022 and in 2024? Is your vote really going to count? Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm going to continue to cover election integrity. And with that being said, we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.